God bless you. Welcome to the Temple of Clarity, a physical retreat of the Universal Brotherhood and Sisterhood of Light. What does that mean? It means it is a place unique to other places around the world, as the Masters, East and West, North and South, are recognized and honored. The angels come because it is a portal, a place where you can enter Spirit, Source, the I am that I am. This is more than just a meditation that you're walking into. This is a direct encounter with the divine. For those of you at home, take a moment and make your space sacred. Take a moment and place your higher awareness here with us. Turn off any kind of distraction and dedicate this time to the Christ, to the Buddha, to the One, the I Am. Before we start, let us make an invocation. I'll make an invocation and then light the candle. Please rise with me. O Lord God, I am that I am. O fire most holy, Creator, life itself. We, your emanations, your sons and daughters, have gathered here to sit in your presence, to merge with the God flame within, to emanate out to our brothers and sisters this light as an awakening pulse, as an awakening energy, so that all can feel and see and know your love, your light, your truth, your beauty, your holiness. Come, O sacred fire. Come, O Holy Spirit. Come, O angels from every dimension and every heaven world. Come into this temple. A couple of instructions. This is a stillness meditation. Peace, be still. You'll be tempted to move. You'll be tempted to think. If you still the body, you can still the mind, and thereby access the soul, the spirit, the fire within. In the stillness that we will co-create in this room, the light presence an angelic presence will come into this room that you will feel, that you may even see. Stay very aware, stay very alert as you open to the light, to the truth, to the Christ, to the divine fire the threefold flame within. This is an opportunity to go farther into spirit, to merge with the God flame within, to stay in a eternal, infinite glory, and to come back radiant with the sacred fire, glowing with the Shakti of the Divine Mother that could change the world. So determine now to go into the stillness, surrender all to the light, and to drink the holy nectar of God's sacred presence. coming back. Hang out in spirit for just a little longer. Stay tethered to the eternal God flame within. And the God flame says, drink me while I am drinking thee. And in the love of the sacred marriage of spirit and matter, we are absorbed into the flame, into the eternal God flame. And the love and the bliss and the reunion of the marriage of the wedding of the Lamb, the union with the I Am, all flesh becomes spiritualized. All matter becomes living, conscious frequencies of God consciousness, of every beautiful thing. And around you, etheric flowers, beautiful glyphs of light are being birthed into time and space because you give access to this divine frequency in the drinking and the merging of this one reality through you. And as we visualize ourselves as living God flames, walking the earth, we energize the very ground we walk upon, the very air we breathe, the very air that we exhale becomes living fire of spiritual force. And change occurs. The shift happens as we pulse out God goodness, God flame, God energies, God frequencies, God power and God love, God wisdom and God realities into time and space. For we are the sons and daughters. We are the emanation of reality in time and space. And in these meditations, when you are drinking in the God flame into every particle of your being, every atom, every molecule, every cell, with new God vibrancy, new God particles, eternal. So for a few moments now, let us just merge into this flame and beyond for another 5 minutes. Drink in the flame. And now in this holy moment, I call to the 5 Dhyani Buddhas, to Ratnasambhava, to Gautama Buddha and Lord Maitreya, to the Buddha of the Ruby Ray, and all Buddhas in the pure land of the highest God awareness, to come to earth this day. To awaken from the great sleep. Like Kuan Yin, as these prayers are being echoed across the universe, to bring the peace, to bring the stillness, to bring the certainty of the awakening to mankind this day. Also to bring the antidotes for all hatred, anger, fear, and we say, peace, be still. Peace, peace, shalom. To those who yell and scream in the night, to those harassing spirits, to those pitted against the Divine Mother and her children. And through these ones in this meditation now, we emanate out and pulse out the frequencies of peace from our chakras, from our God presence. Let there be a new peace in the stillness and the quietude of the mind of the Buddhas. Now together, let's transport ourselves to the bedside where William Brainerd, is in Oceanside, California. And as we hold this peace, this absolute certainty of God wisdom, of God beingness. And we hold this peace for all people in hospice, nursing homes, hospital and emergency rooms. And we light the flame of peace in that room. And we light the flame of peace upon every mountaintop, in every city, in every country. And we see it done. And when you're ready, open your eyes. But keep that memory of lighting a flame of peace in a room, in a place. Keep it in your spiritual toolbox. Well, we are getting used to living on earth again. I'm going to read a couple of things. The Temple of Clarity is part of the Heart Center, which is a dynamic worldwide movement of spiritual seekers, or I would say finders, joyously growing in personal self-mastery. We are guided and supported by timely revelations and inspirational teachings of the Ascended Masters. Through David Christopher Lewis, an anointed messenger of the Universal Great White Brotherhood. And David says, we are all messengers. And often has us say what we are messengers of. And that's something for us to meditate on. Some of us might be messengers of the Divine Mother. Some of us might be messengers of music. Some of us might be messengers of angelic beings. We all have a place in the body of Christ. We all have something to give back The Heart Center has a mission and vision statement that kind of summarizes really nicely what the Ascended Masters are envisioning for mankind. So our mission statement is, within our Heart Center community, we realize personal self-enlightenment through our higher self and share the Ascended Masters' teachings and our love wisdom throughout the earth. Our vision statement is we live in sustainable golden crystal age communities in joy and in harmony with Mother Nature, using solar sciences of the spirit. We radiate light and live and love as one. So there's a lot of key spiritual ideas crystallized in that little paragraph that just really speaks to my heart, speaks to the heart of the light worker, especially spiritual communities, because when we're together, there is a multiplication factor of light. When we get together, the amperage, the voltage, whatever that is, goes up by a magnitude. And to live in a spiritual community like the Sangha that the Buddha had, or the ashrams that the yogis have, everything accelerates. Everything grows in spirituality easier. So that is a vision. The masters have always had a spiritual community on earth, whether it be in India or China, or we have one Quest Haven, a small spiritual community, but they want to have a bigger community, more all-encompassing, more inclusive, more less, these ideas and those ideas, but just pure God consciousness, God communication individually. So that is the goal. I know the Essenes had a beautiful community that Jesus, that Lisa gave a talk on a couple of months ago. And that was a wonderful community. In Greece, they had the wonderful community. And in this age, it has not crystallized. The dream is there. The vision is there. It's in the etheric, to bring it to earth where it's anchored, where these teachings are of the masters, east and west, can be practiced in a group form, is a wonderful thing. I lived in a spiritual community for a couple years in Montana. I was on staff with Elizabeth Clare Prophet, and what a powerful event that was for me in those 2 years of practicing the teachings of the Buddhas, of Krishna, of Christ, every day. And to be among the initiates, those who want to merge with the source, those who are, the initiates of the Ascended Masters. I met so many beautiful people and had such a wonderful experience in my short time on staff that it's going to last forever. Those relationships. It's a beautiful thing. And of course, when you have friends that are say, your older brothers and sisters, what you gather in wisdom from just being around them and seeing how the Christ is working in their life, seeing how the illumined Buddhic mind is emanating out of this one. And from like an osmosis, you absorb that. And when you have a spiritual teacher like Elizabeth Clare Prophet, such a loving mother, the joy of being there was tremendous. The joy of being in a spiritual community that is dedicated to love and emanating love. And the fire of the Holy Spirit being there was the honey that kept us all in harmony. It was a great time. It is a great time even now. Right now we're kind of a virtual community, the Heart Center. We get together more online, through these broadcasts and little groups around the country. We have a place around the world, in Mexico and in Chile and Sweden, and little Heart Center places are coming up. So we have a special person here today that I would like to give the mic to, and I'll just tell my encounter, my version of it. Deanna Lococo, who is a master teacher, who is a clergy, who works at Palomar Hospital, who is a poet, an artisan of spirit, a divine knower, an emanation of the Divine Mother, and a divine grandmother. I get a phone call, can you come over and fix my computer? And like I said, there was something in the voice that I heard. Something in like a little electrical signature in the voice that I heard. And when I got to the door, I stood at the door and my back straightened up. And I said, oh boy, something's happening here. And I guess it was my angel pushing me into the door. And I opened the door and there's an angel statue. There's an angelic presence. There's such a peace in the room. There's a beautiful crystal. What? Why? How did this happen? And then the warm greeting with water and the welcoming. And I knew right away this was no accident. We all have those encounters all the time. We can all tell stories about it. So, anyways, I says, you have to come to my meditation group. You have to share your story. I have a wireless mic. Let me bring it to you. You can share whatever you like. 1 minute, I got to turn on the volume. It's on, but you have to hold it fairly close.
Okay. Oh, hello. I hear me. Thank you, Dennis. That was very kind. And yes, our meeting was a wonderful surprise. We both know someone else, and she is the one who usually would help me with my computer. And she said, I have to introduce you to the computer doctor. And so she gave me his name. I called him and left a message. And before that encounter at the front door, it was another phone call. You had left a message. You heard my voice. You'd left a message, and then I called you back. And the first question I asked you was, because your question was, would you be willing to present to my meditation group? And that just, what? He's a computer guy. What's he talking about? So that was my first question when you walked in the door. And of course I said, yes, I've done this for years. I'd like to do it. So I like to look at these days as a wondrous purification. And purification is not fun. Any one of us who've been through illnesses or whatever takes great courage. So my watchword for these days is, I am an invocation. I invite hope. I invite peace. I invoke goodness out of the truth of who we are. It's natural for us, and we're most comfortable and happy when we're there. When we're off, and that's okay too. That always teaches us. So I am in-breathing and absorbing the eternal flame of cosmic Christ. Now embodying and coming into realization, pure light service to the body of humanity.
Wow. The room lit up with photons of light when you were speaking. I just want to let everybody on the broadcast know that Deanna Lococo will be talking about this next Tuesday. She'll have she'll have poetic license to give her sharing, and it should be very fun. So let me ask you, I don't know, what were you expecting when you came here?
What was I expecting? Oh, gosh. Well, I had watched you online, so I was familiar with the room, but when you walk into this wonderful place with all of these guardians and guides, it takes a moment. It feels like a cloak. It feels like you're walking into a cloak of warmth and beauty and contentment. It's very content and quiet here. I didn't have any expectation except to look forward to meeting some new people and looking at what I could possibly do next week. And one of the things that I had to consider is to not compare myself with you, Dennis. We have different approaches of having a meditation ceremony, a worship service, and yet honoring yours. And like you said, we are all unique, wonderful individuals. We are an expression. There is nothing like us. We are our own snowflake. And so it's in the newness of that, I have to allow myself to be comfortable and just trust and have confidence. And as I mentioned to you earlier this evening, I sincerely appreciate your acknowledgement, because since we've met these last few weeks, I feel a confidence expanded in me to just be who I am. And my presentation is my presentation. And you're right, it's art. We all have our artistry, and we all are a presence, capital P. And our presence is a present.
So all of us, or I don't know about Lauren, but all the rest of us have taken turns presenting things here. And we all do it entirely differently than Dennis. I mean, just, entirely different than Dennis. Carlos is a shaman and, oh, I'm sorry. Carlos is a shaman and Lisa presents a number of pardon?
Wisdom teaching.
Wisdom teachings, yes, wisdom teachings. And I use lots of humor and, if people aren't laughing, I think we're not moving towards enlightenment, so.
I call it high frequency solutions.
And so we all have a completely different way. And so yours will be perfect. However it is, will be perfect.
How boring if we were all the same.
Right now, I feel very comfortable. I'm going to go home feeling very comfortable. Thank you.
Laura, did you have any experience during the meditation?
I was mostly being the light. It was bliss. I was a little uncomfortable with the flames of God. I made mine cool white light because we've already got enough flames going on the planet.
Yeah,
So,
fires.
I had to change that up a little bit. Hope you don't mind.
No?
I had a few visits to Egypt, which is my entertainment at the moment, rediscovering that I've seen hundreds, as probably most of us have, of our past lives and what we were doing and why we were doing it and what our lessons were. And then recently I discovered I was Queen Nefertari, not Queen Nefertiti, Queen Nefertari, which I think the only reason to discover our past lives is so we can figure out what we learned, what we mastered there, so we don't have to reinvent the wheel in this lifetime. And sort of some real interesting similarities between her life and my life. And she was really an advocate for peace, and I have Peace for All with Ma'uri group. And so it's just actually she's the one that talked Ramses II into making peace with the Hittites because they were having war for years and years, and she brokered that deal and sent a letter, this really touching letter to the Hittite leader's wife, calling her sister and saying that her husband and Ramsey were brothers and offering gifts. And it was just, wonderful to discover all of that and how I do many things in a similar theme, but in a different way, of course. So I went to Egypt for a little while. That's what I did. Anybody else want to share?
I'll just share something about the flame. I've always visualized myself as a fire-like being. And I know there's more than that to spirit, to source, but when it's in time and space, it is, when spirit is in time and space, it has this ability to transform and recreate and bring into, give birth to new things as a flame, as a God flame. And when Moses, that's my kind of like intuition of it. And when I think of my God flame, I feel the flame in my heart. And it's not a flame like a candle flame, but it is, that's the closest thing we can think of, that we can relate it to, our minds can kind of like comprehend. So spirit is, there's so many aspects of it, it's kind of like the wind, and it's clear and it moves and it doesn't have shape but I've always, especially when I'm in the mode of, creating or bringing spirit into the room, it's a flame, it's a fire, and boy, do I feel the heat of it. Anybody have anything to say about that? Other sharings you'd like? Go ahead, Deanna.
I'd just like to expand on. Am I on? Okay. I just like to expand on the flame and my experience of the flame. In the teachings and the studies that I have, the violet flame is who we are. We are love, we are power, we are wisdom, and those three colors, the pink, the blue, and the golden yellow, create the violet. And I see the flame as a beautiful dancer. Like the origins of every tradition, every indigenous people have dances. And the dances are usually led by the women. And to study them was a very deep, personal, intentional community where it was all spirit. For instance, if you think about a Hawaiian dance, the body is moving gracefully up and down and all around, and that's how I see us as a flame. That's how I see the grace of being in the midst of all the stuff we're doing.
That's kind of brought some insights. The dancing thing is a beautiful thing too. It's movement, isn't it? It's joy. It's the flame of love. There's that part of it too. Life itself is like a creative flame. But if we think of, the fires going on in Oregon and Northern California and other places, it's not like that. It's more of a bliss. It's more of a absorption. So the yellow, the pink, and the blue create violet. Lisa, you're an artist.
Well, white is all the colors. When it's kind of counterintuitive, but all the colors are white. If you put them all together, you'll end up with white. And black is, of course, the absence of color. And I guess I'll share my little experience. I just felt the radiation of the heart flame radiating out, and wonderful water full of light coming into my chalice that I had created, and it just radiates out a long way. And recently I've been trying to be empty and just allow the flame to burn and other things. Anyone else?
I remember the first part of the meditation, I got the words, drink me while I am drinking thee. And that was a teaching from Mother, wasn't it? From Guru Ma.
And Saint Germain.
And Saint Germain. And that happened during the meditation a little bit before, and I thought about it, and I could just, like there was this kind of like moving of spirit and matter. And then there's the figure eight flow of when we are drinking God and God is drinking us. And we are at the nexus in the stillness, in the peace of that experience. It's a beautiful thing. And I did light a candle in Bill's room. A peace. Well, thank you, everybody on the broadcast. We are going to have a little bit of watermelon and some just off the broadcast time. God bless you. We will be broadcasting again tomorrow, 7:30 as always for the Divine Mother Worship Service. And then also on Thursday for the Kuan Yin Rosary. You can join us. I want to also thank Michael Vase for his constancy, for his sharing here at the temple, for his dedication to the Master, Saint Germain. And I know that you're having some challenges now, but I am visualizing perfect health in mind, body, and soul. And it all starts with peace in the body, peace in the mind. God bless you, Michael. God bless you, everyone on the internet. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.
you.